Game Week 19 Premier League preview. There's plenty of insane fixtures coming up, so let's get right into it as well as my predictions. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. If you're liking my content, make sure to drop a like to this video and sub to the channel. It really means a lot to me. Today I'm going to be going through Premier League predictions for Game Week 19. So let's get right into it, starting with Brentford versus Liverpool. Now in this game, it's 10th place versus 6th place. Brentford haven't lost in 5 games and they've actually set a new Premier League record for themselves, whereas Liverpool are finally coming back into some form. They've won 4 in a row and Darwin Núñez has 5.99 shots per 90. Without Ivan Toney in the mix, I think that he is going to miss this game. I do think that Liverpool are going to edge this one out. So my prediction for this match is Brentford 1, Liverpool 2. Now we go on to Leicester versus Fulham. This one is quite a difficult match to predict. 13th versus 7th. Leicester were unlucky to concede 2 own goals in just a matter of minutes. That's insane. They now have 2 consecutive defeats. On the other hand, Fulham are looking pretty good. Leicester needs the 3 points in this match. Their problem has been mainly defensive this season. They have the 4th worst defense in the entire league, but they do have the likes of hopefully James Maddison and Harvey Barnes coming back into the mix in order to give them something. But I do think that this is going to be a tight game. I'm going to go for a pretty high scoring prediction at 2-2. Next up, one of the biggest games of the season, and could it potentially define who is going to win the Premier League title this season. It's Arsenal in 1st place versus Newcastle in 3rd. Boy, I never thought that I'd be saying that at the start of this season. Now, Arsenal have the 2nd best attack in the league, just behind Manchester City, and they have a pretty crazy home record. They've won 5 in a row and 10 games in a row at home. However, they have conceded in all of those games except versus Nottingham Forest. On the other hand, Newcastle have the best defense in the league, conceding only 11 goals and keeping 8 clean sheets. I think that this is going to be a really exciting, really enthralling match. I personally cannot wait to see which way it goes, and I honestly feel that it could go either way, so I'm having a very hard time making a prediction about who's going to win. I've kind of copped out a bit and I went for a high scoring game of Arsenal 2, Newcastle 2, but let me know your score prediction. What do you guys think? This is one to keep your eyes out on. Next up, we have Everton in 16th versus Brighton in 9th. I think that this could be an interesting match as well. Everton had a big draw against Manchester City. Demarai Gray with an absolute stunner of a goal. And Brighton almost gave Arsenal a run for their money, scoring 2 goals and having a 3rd disallowed. And they really made a comeback. I feel like Brighton have looked much stronger in the past couple of weeks than they had once Graham Potter had just left them. And I think that this is going to be a pretty even match, but at the end of the day, I'm going to nudge it towards Brighton. So my prediction is Everton 1, Brighton 2. Now we have Manchester United versus Bournemouth. Manchester United have jumped up into 4th in the league, and Ten Hag is showing what a good manager he is. Marcus Rashford has come back into the mix. He was benched after being late, but you can see that there's no hard feelings, and I think that that's Ten Hag showing that he has authority over the team. He's moved Luke Shaw over to centre back and fixed the Ronaldo situation, and the club just looks like they're playing better without Ronaldo there. So I do see this as being a pretty straightforward win for Manchester United, and I'm predicting Man United 2, Bournemouth 0. Next up, we have a big game in the relegation battle. Southampton versus Nottingham Forest. Southampton sit in 20th, Nottingham Forest in 18th. Southampton's James Ward-Prowse is actually very close to equaling David Beckham's record for free kicks, so keep your eye out on that. Nottingham Forest had a very good display versus Chelsea, keeping them to a 1-1 draw. They had a lot of physicality and power, and they were really winning those second balls. So I do think that this is going to be a pretty interesting match, a pretty physical match, but I'm going to tip it towards Nottingham Forest. I'm predicting Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Now, surprisingly, this next game may also be considered a relegation battle, and I never thought that I'd say that, it's Leeds in 14th versus West Ham in 17th. West Ham have completely just fallen off the chart. West Ham had 20 shots versus Brentford, but still lost. They're without a win in their last 5 games. We all know that Leeds at Ellen Road is a very difficult game. The fans really are the 12th man there. And so I'm going to tip this in Leeds' favor. And if West Ham lose this game, I do think it might be the end for David Moyes at West Ham. So I'm going for a 2-1 win for Leeds United. Next up, it's Midlands Derby. Aston Villa versus Wolves. Aston Villa looked very sharp versus Spurs, beating them 2-0. Unai Emery really coming in. He doesn't have that pressure maybe that he did coaching Arsenal, and that's not to say that Aston Villa aren't a good side, but the expectations are going to be slightly different, and I think that we're seeing his coaching prowess really come into fruition in these matches. So for me, I do think it's going to be tight, but I'm going to go Aston Villa 1, Wolves 0. Next up, it's a London derby. South London versus North London, and Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. Crystal Palace have 3 wins in their last 5, and Spurs are looking not so great under Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte made some not so great comments after the 2-0 loss against Aston Villa, and just his body language in general isn't looking very positive. So I do think that Crystal Palace could perfectly go on and win this match. Tottenham are now sitting just outside of that Champions League spot after losing in Manchester United's win. So this game is going to be massive for them in the top 4 race. I don't see them having the power to push through and compete, especially when you have the likes of Newcastle, Manchester United, Liverpool all playing extremely well. I do think that we're going to see Tottenham slip down the table a little bit. Honestly, I feel that this could go either way, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And then finally, another big game during this game week, Chelsea versus Manchester City. They play each other twice in the span of a week, once in the Premier League, once in the FA Cup. And here's a crazy stat for you. Chelsea have scored 20 goals so far this season. Erling Haaland has scored 21, and I think that just about sums up where these two teams are at the moment. City are going to be looking to get some points back after dropping points versus Everton, and just looking at the Chelsea side, I don't know if they have enough to be able to deal with City's attack. I do think they'll maybe score 1, maybe it's a bit of a tighter game than everybody's expecting, but I'm going to go Chelsea 1, Man City 2. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to let me know how you think the Premier League fixtures are going to go down in the comments below. Which games are you looking forward to? And if you like this video, share it with friends, drop it a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You can also find me on socials at Elizabeth Helenek on Instagram and TikTok, and at Ellie_Helenek on Twitter. Everything in the description box. So make sure to tune in for the content that I have coming up this week. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and until next time, I'm out. Bye.